governance and management of IT, right? And like I was saying, take note of words like and expressions like aligned, alignment, align. You will see them feature in this module and even in your exam. And it's all about the fact that there must be a relationship. It's a symbiotic relationship, such a between a couple that is very compatible. So think of alignment as a uniting, a marriage, a harmonious relationship between IT and the business. Meaning, therefore, that, like I said earlier on, these two are not two lines that will never meet. There will always be a point of convergence, so that operational goals will be met effectively and resources used how? How do you use resources? Efficiently. Efficiency in use of resources means resources must not be wasted. Judicious or prudent use of resources. Efficient. But when you talk about effectiveness in this context, you are talking about the achievement of objectives 100%. Right? All right. So let's get introduced to this module. Like I said, we'll be talking about the dichotomy between governance and management of IT. What necessitates governance? Who governs? What are the imperatives for governance? And who are the IT specialists that manages IT for an organization? And why does that have to be a governance structure and at the same time management cadre for IT? Now let's get introduced to corporate governance. It says corporate governance has to do with ethical issues in an organization. Now, remove your mind from abstraction. Center your minds in IT. For those of you that were here last week, I told you that it's going to be your responsibility to understand the guys in IT, because you will be auditing the guys in IT. Like I said last week, if you guys remember, these guys in IT are very good. So most of them are able to commit fraud and cover their tracks effectively because they have the tools and the technical know-how, the skill. You understand? So it's going to be your responsibility to do what? To know what these guys are up to. It takes a thief to catch a thief. And that's the truth, right? So, and I said, one of the things that will help you is learning to speak the language of the world, of the profession. Every discipline, every profession has its own technical jargons. IT is not an exception. I give you guys examples, 3 examples at least last week, that buttresses reason why you need to learn to speak the language of the profession. Who can tell me 3 reasons why you need to learn to speak the language of the profession? Or 3 examples of such. What's that your name again? Sheye. What are the 3 examples I gave that buttresses why you need to learn to speak the language of the profession? Because if you don't, you go to IT to audit, these guys will bamboozle. The guys at home, you and they say, everybody at home.
Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah, happy coffee sipping. And happy Hamatan. I said, if you guys recall, that if you go to a database, you want data, right, for analysis, what do you say you want to do? You want to spool data. You don't go to a database and say, I want to download data. You are not on the internet. So you spool data, right? So if you go to the guys in IT and say, I want to download data, they'll just look at themselves and, this one is a novice. Let's deal with him or her triangularly, right? So they know that you don't know nothing about them, all right? And so they now would want to start speaking their jargons and they'll bamboozle you, right? My former boss, Mr. Chris Ekiba, I told you about him, doyen of this industry, a man that brought this profession to the country, a man that founded EDP Audit and Security Associates. I studied at his feet. Mr. Chris Ekiba will always tell us that when you go to a database, you want to spool data for analysis, especially if they have more than 1 or 2 or 3 databases there, right? And you are not sure you want to spool data from, you should just write something on a paper, like a statement, and they give them to sign. I attest that it is from this database that I am supposed to spool the data to run analysis. If they sign, that is a database. But if they hesitate or refuse to sign, that is not the right database. Especially if you suspect fraud has taken place or fraud is in the making. I told you guys, by the time you leave here, you should what? Become control experts. That's what you have been trained for. And I need you guys to go back and what? Impact positively, based on what you are learning, right? So you spool data. If, for example, you go to MTN data center, did you guys know that MTN has the largest data center in Africa, somewhere in Lagos? Do you guys know the location? Or is it in Lagos? The largest data center in Africa belongs to MTN is here, somewhere in Lagos. But do you know why you don't know? Control issues. Because you don't go to a data center and see this is a signboard of the data center belonging to XYZ Nigeria Limited. If you go back, in fact, even your IT department in your company should not be located in an area, in an easily accessible area. And then some companies, I went to one company one day, they said this way, there was a sign on the wall, this way to IT department. And I laughed at myself. They know nothing. If I want to cripple your organization, it is from that IT department or at your data center. That's why you don't have to announce it. In fact, your IT department in your head office, Senate head office, should be in an obscure location, not easily accessed. Go back and ask, where is your IT department? These are control issues. Underscoring the reason why you need to learn to speak the language of the profession. Right? And I said here, we don't say online real time. No, it is either online or real time, professionally speaking. And we said also, we don't use data and information interchangeably. To us, they are two different things. To me, data is raw, unprocessed. Information is what? Processed data. And what example did I give? I said if I say 2, and then 4, that is what? Data, unprocessed. But if I say 2 plus 2 plus 4, what would that give me? That is information. So don't go out there and say, and use them interchangeably, and they say, who taught you? You say, Neri. If I catch you. All right, let's go. Now, we want to introduce ourselves to corporate governance. It says it has to do with ethical issues. It has to do with how decisions are made, arrived at in an organization. It has to do with practices within an organization. All these things are fostered through what? Corporate governance practices. For you guys that just joined us, on my slides, any area that I've underlined, written in a different color, both printed, italicized, that is my area of emphasis. Even for the sake of exam. Are we following? Good. Now, here are some definitions of corporate governance. It says, it is a system by which business corporations are directed and controlled, according to Sir Adrian Cadbury. It says, and practices used by an organization's management to provide strategic direction. How and the means of providing this strategic direction to Zenith Bank staff or in Zenith Bank is all about what? Corporate governance. Right? Now, it says it spells out the rules of the game, the procedures for making decisions on corporate affairs. By doing this, it also provides a structure through which the company objectives are set and the means of attaining those objectives and monitoring performance. And that definition is according to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. ISACA is not going to ask you for definitions. They want to test your understanding of what corporate governance is all about. They want to know that you know the structure that fosters corporate governance. And they want to know that you know what corporate governance will achieve in an organization. Am I speaking your mind, somebody? Hallelujah. Don't mind me. All right. So what therefore is enterprise governance of information and technology? Who governs? What is the necessity for governing your IT? Take note. Information and what? Technology. They are two different things. Are they not? Technology. Right? Information and technology. The internet is a technology. Your apps are technologies. Your laptop is what? A technology. Is that not so? Now, the information that is contained in that technology, your server is a technology. But then what? Information that is contained in the technology. For those of you that work in a bank, whether you use Pinnacle or use T24, FlexCube, Globus, all of them are what? Technologies. Are they not? Good.